place in my heart for most people in this life. You know, I really gotta say, in my 40 years so far, I've managed to squash any and every stereotype or bias toward any group, except for maybe pedophiles and, super elite rich cocksucking fuckers that are ruining the world. Maybe let's be your wife. No, I'm just kidding. I need to at least understand it, even if I can't fix it, especially if I can't fix it. Actually, that is the most frustrating time in your life, is when you realize your youthful aspirations, your idealism, your John Lennon-esque, hope for things to use the right tools, or else to use the right tools to make things better. There's a point in which enough education and enough skepticism and enough studying and enough hearing of things and talking to other people that you eventually realize that the neoliberal society that we live in, a hyper-capitalistic, cutthroat, everybody deserves it, go out, fuck up the earth in any way they want, screw around with other people's lives in terms of being a shady employer or treat other human beings like crap because they have a disease or a mental health struggle or both, in addiction form, or maybe even just as small as if you had the audacity to become an older person and become a victim of a for-profit fucking old age home system set about by politicians we voted in, and we didn't even come back in tar and feather afterwards. Now we just give their sons jobs and their brothers jobs, and we wonder why they get away with it. Wonder how and why they get away with it. Because none of you ever thinks about the other. How in God's name else do you explain? How does 5.5 billion people, how does 6.5 billion people, and then 7.5 billion people get ruled by a handful of others? They don't. They willingly give up everything for the tricks of the system. Put some screens in front of me, give me some nice cars, and make sure you keep the meat and the plastic and everything else rolling in on trucks, boats, airplanes. Bring it all in. We don't care the cost. Dig out every last little goddamn drop of oil from the middle of the fucking country. Fish every fucking fish out. Let the rest of the world do the same to everybody else. Because it's all about you would do it if you could. It's one of the most ironic and stupid things I hear some of you say. You'd do the same thing. You'd be Jeff Bezos if you could. No, I fucking wouldn't. I'm not. That's how I know. Perhaps some of you, though, you've actually learned to take in this society so fucking mouthful at a time that you don't realize you've swallowed a big bag of shit. Or perhaps your apathy and your empathy are also out of whack that you don't realize that even if there is no such thing as a human soul, there's still such a thing called integrity. And maybe it's just easier to blame the homeless, blame the junkie, blame the other political party you don't like, blame the Montreal Canadiens if you're a fucking Maple Leafs fan. Like, Jesus Christ, where's it gonna stop? With your children's children? Will they decide to be adults? Will they decide to be more than what was handed to them? Than the easy excuses that they're allowed to make to just let the boat continue to go on its course into the fucking pit? Because in the end, there will be one generation that gets the choice, and then there'll be the next generation that won't have a choice. And maybe that's when it'll rise up. I don't know. I know one thing though, I've met a hell of a lot of good people in dire straits. And I understand now why most people who haven't fallen will do their best to hide it when they do. Because we live in the most uncaring time in history that I've ever fucking could possibly have thought we'd become again. Because we are not in a generation that doesn't know any better. In fact, we do know better. But we like to think that it's okay to get on Facebook and wherever and argue things like fucking that science has proven or things that, like, you know, we fought hard to change about our society, because now it's about fighting, it's about being right, it's about the fact that there isn't enough for everybody, so we need to make reasons in our goddamn heads for why we can justify to the next generation that we treated each other like this. Our elders, our children are sick. I'm sick of it. So now I have to use the goddamn privilege of my parents' fucking hard work to go somewhere that most people won't go, because there isn't enough space to help that many people, and because it's too goddamn expensive, because there's wait lists down 6 months down the road for the government stations. Well, who cares though, right? Because they're not real people anymore. They made all their decisions their own selves. They were not victims of anything, because if they were, then you'd have to sleep with that at night. That's how in denial most of you are, and that is the thing that I think I'm going to dedicate my life to, bursting that bubble. I'm not going to quiet down. I'm going to get sober and be fucking very, very, very loud. I'll just be a little bit better spoken, and I'll have to write some things down once in a while, so I don't sound like a lunatic. That's the thing about mental health and about addiction, is that I've struggled with most of my life. You read about it. You read about the society that doesn't give a shit about itself. You read about it, and then you see it live on Facebook, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, you know, still down there protesting fucking safe injection sites when you should all goddamn well be home, holding your Starbucks coffee, talking about how homeless people roam downtown. What a bunch of fucking goddamn hypocrites you are. You know what? There's a goddamn coffee shop down the street. Why didn't you shop there? Where'd you get your clothes? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? And then the excuses come out. Well, I needed to have enough money for my retirement. I need to put my money into investment firms. I don't have money to I need to go to Walmart even though I make fucking $150,000 a year. Like, everybody does that. You're hypocrites. You're the fucking reason this society is fucked. And you want to argue with it? Go ahead. You go ahead and pull out a piece of paper. You tally up all of the damage that the homeless and that the junkies and that the mentally ill do to society. But add up the cost of it, and then go over what you spend in a year on frivolous bullshit, on things that could just as easily be fixed, that they get tossed to the curb for those disgusting people to actually recycle for you. Let's look again at the REIT structure. So you've got a whole bunch of people who have just enough money that you're going to try and make money off other people below you on the rental scale. Do you not think that does more damage? Well, of course not, because that's just the way the world is, right? The people who are going through personal hardships, people who have suffered probably some kind of trauma, and they don't have the resources to get that help, well, they're not going to get that help, because that help should go to somebody else who doesn't get help either. What you're really saying is you don't give a shit, just don't make you look bad, don't make me involved in this. I heard it enough times in your voices, I've seen it enough times in the bullshit excuses that have come out. I hereby absolutely and utterly reject this society. I demand a do-over for all of those in the future. If things aren't working and they're getting worse, then it doesn't matter if a couple of baby boomers in every city want to sit around online and fucking blame China and blame Pakistan, blame the immigrants, blame fucking the junkie, blame everybody but your little selfish selves. Just thought you still got to have the 1950s everything, you know, with a bunch of other shit to boot. God forbid that you took a little fucking pay cut in terms of the splendor of your excess and your privilege, your entitlements. God forbid, eh? No, because capitalism and neoliberalism drive a train, a force straight through a crowd. And that train and that force is more important. And that is competition and profit. That is more than just REITs. It's fucking everything. And then you'll complain next year if your goddamn downtown floor doesn't have any businesses. And then of course you'll probably complain that, you know, the rents are all going to go up because you've allowed a bunch of condos to come in here and change the dynamic entirely. And the film crews won't come here anymore. Who the hell needs to come here to film a bunch of fucking skyscrapers? They could be anywhere. Are they going to film on Hestel Road? No. angry anymore. I'm disappointed. My whole life I've spent blaming myself for something that more than likely, with enough research, I probably would have understood that it is not me. That it is genetic, it is psychosocial, cultural, that it is something that has plagued families and families and families. But I wasn't willing to see myself as something that deserved to be helped and saved, because I thought, because I liked partying when I was young, that I made that choice. And that's very convenient for the 80% of people who never have any issues with that. It's like saying, because you didn't smoke, you don't deserve to have cancer. It's okay for you to do whatever the fuck you want else. You drive around, destroy the earth, get a fucking big old gas guzzling SUV, throw everything out there, and when it goes out of style instead of saving it, you don't even have to recycle, you don't have to fucking think about anybody else. You pay your taxes. You work. And that's all it took to make me happy, that I could have done that 1,000 times over. But even now, at the precipice of having to leave everything I love in my family, and of having to once again go down and be quiet and not worry about rocking the boat, of having to once again look like I'm an asshole and a crazy person for just asking, maybe this shouldn't be like this, and ask some questions. Just because I didn't get old as fast and decide that it was an excuse to be like my parents, who probably didn't even have the wherewithal, decision, or fucking information. Well, hell, I had a single mom. So much y'all had some nice upbringing compared to me. We had to struggle a little bit. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to you in your childhood. It doesn't matter what you're born into. This society stopped letting that become a reason to justify actually helping each other, so that we would be able to make money off the very few times that they do, create a situation where people have to be helped. You got a bunch of old people, don't worry, you let the REITs handle that. You let those cocksuckers come in, and they'll make that teacher's pension fund up into 500 billions, and that's great. Where the fuck are you gonna retire though? There's not gonna be anywhere left for any of us. Just keep going down this road because we can't see past the fucking proverbial cock of our own lifespan. It doesn't matter. As long as you taught your kids to be fucking selfish and only worry about themselves, it doesn't matter then. Well, it will matter someday. I'm going to make sure that I just will never stop pumping out the reality right in front of your goddamn faces, the naked lunch staring right back at you. You're just as much to blame as those at the bottom, suffering, if not more so. When someone gets to a certain level of comfort, they should be helping others. But that went out the window long ago. And it's clever and easy to blame the fact that, well, it's all immigrants around now, and fucking everybody's different. It's like, no, man. Oh, it's all junkies. It's all junkies. You can't even go out no more. Can't have a community. It's like, no. Long before any of that shit, you were all so satisfied to selfishly embrace other cultures, mass cultures from other places, because you want it to be cool, I guess, like the rest of the world. I don't know. I don't care anymore. Why? I just know that I'm going to start screaming bloody murder as soon as I am fucking taking care of myself, because this is a job for people that have empathy, people who have been through shit. And a lot of y'all, that's your major fucking flaw. You had too easy of a goddamn life. And don't tell me you work hard, you deserve everything you have. You work somewhere where you're probably exploiting, at the very least, the environment. At the very fucking least, you have the benefit of an easier job, because you don't have any of the issues other people do have. You're in your goddamn glass castle, and you go out and you drink on the weekends, you chain smoke, and you go back to work, and you don't even do a thing to indicate that you're that person. You don't have the same anxieties and pressures unless you do too many drugs, but even then they don't addict you anyways. You don't have to face homelessness. You're not old enough yet to fall apart, and you should be alright if you make it on your own. My God, how many of you are blind? If the name of the game of humanity was to do it like that, each of us for ourselves, we'd already be dead.